Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Recently, the Prime Minister of India inaugurated the new international airport in Delhi area, NCR area called Jewar or the Noida International Airport. It's a greenfield project, but the way it has been opened and the way it's visualized is possibly going to be the finest airport in India and would possibly be a claimant to the best airport in the world. Now, this is a greenfield project, and the total management right from the word go, right from the ground zero level, is not to be managed by Indian government as usually they are. It shall be managed by Zurich Airport International. And it's hoped that Zurich Airport International shall really make it airport that can compete with Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Changi Airport to make it one of the finest one. And not only that, it will keep and conform to the stated timelines. And when the airport starts operations, it will be the second international airport in National Capital Region of Delhi. Both international airports in NCR will then be under the private management. And this is a watershed. As a matter of fact, Delhi and Bombay were placed under private management quite some time back, inviting therein the claims that it's crony capitalism, and people forgot that when Delhi airport and Bombay airports were privatized, Modi was nowhere in the picture. It was the year 2006, 8 years before even Modi came on the national scene. It was the government called UPA government under Manmohan Singh that was controlling, and they took this action which is pretty good economically and the national point of view. And yet, when Modi government starts doing the same thing, the Congress leader who initiated the privatization process says that Modi is mortgaging Indian economy, Indian property to the capitalists, to the corporates. The corporates seem to become a dirty word instead of being cherished as it is. It's a lexicographical word meaning a corporation. So why is it the people are afraid of corporates? But then that's a different matter of fact. Now, the Noida International Airport would not be under any of the Indian corporates. Of course, Adani and Ambani did compete to get control of it, but the government took a firm stand. It was given on merits to Zurich Airport International, who have committed to run it profitably, so that the government's role would be negated, but both government would be getting a percentage of profit. And a minimum profit has to be given even if it undergoes a loss. Any organization which is committed to give money, even when undergoing a loss, would ensure that it doesn't undergo a loss. Now, what has happened is that when international airports in NCR and in Bombay, they were placed under private management, it is a measure of success India has held in the last 2 decades in attracting private capital and management into airport infrastructure, and not only development but also the maintenance. People remember that before it was placed under the private management, the situation now at the airport was really no better than a slum. And I used to hate, how can this country have such an airport? But now it's a shining example of investment. I agree that this privatization of Bombay and Delhi and other airports did not take place, did not happen without controversies, without litigations. And I've seen by the number of the PILs filed, public interest litigations, Indians seem to be in love with going to the court. On the wink of an eye, they'll approach the High Court and the Supreme Court asking that such and such action of the government is injurious to the health of the nation, is economically harmful, goes against the fundamental rights, goes against the human rights, and so on. And not only that, they not only go against the government, but a curious action has been taken that even the private bodies are sued, and not in the ordinary court, but in the High Court and the Supreme Court. And this is the height of nonsense, but that's happening. As a matter of fact, High Courts and the Supreme Courts are not supposed to take cognizance, but as I have already said, judicial activism and the interest of appearing as the impartial deciders is swaying them. Now, the watershed movement in privatization, as I said, was 2006. And Delhi and Bombay Airport were leased for a period of 30 years to private entities, and the model adopted was PPP model, private public partnership, which is an excellent model, let me tell you, because the equity remains with the public, with the government. The management section and some part of equity is given to the private sector. The investment is all of the private sector. The management is by them, and the money which comes is shared. Then, after these two airports were privatized, then the airports in Bangalore and Hyderabad were also privatized. They were greenfield airports. That meant in a short span of time, the majority of the passenger traffic was flowing through private managed airports. In 2008, another key development was there. It was the creation of a statutory body. People know about the Airport Authority of India, but nobody knows that there is a better body and more important body which plays its roles quietly. This is the Airport Economic Regulatory Authority, AERI. Practically everybody is aware about the Airport Authority of India, AERI. But the majority, as I said, maybe 90% are not aware of Economic Regulatory Authority. And that authority regulates the airport tariffs, the tickets, the fares, and everything. It's not left to the private entrepreneur who is managing that, okay, now you want to enter the airport, this will be the rate, if you want to have a parking. No, all the rates, all the tariffs, whether it's parking, whether it's ticketing, whether it's security, whatever, is decided by the Airport Economic Regulatory Authority. So that plea people have been taking and the opposition has been crying hoarse that the people are going to be cheated and fleeced and looted. And again, this authority was set up by Manmohan Singh government. I must give credit, devil is due. He did this great job and he deserves credit for that. So this is an essential need in getting both the private capital and also buy-in from passengers, as infrastructure often has a near monopoly status. So that monopoly can always fleece the customers. But here what the government did, and very sensibly, okay, you have a monopoly, but there are limitations, there are barriers, and we will not let the consumer interest be exploited. To put it in the context, the lack of a regulated railways, for example, has hampered its effort to attract private capital. And now, of course, they are trying to privatize it. Some stations have been privatized, but not the railways as such, which would be shortly, of course, and it should be done. The government of India has been the direct beneficiary of this process. And there are huge economic benefits which are indirect benefits. First, automatic accrues from if the airport is good, it gives a sign that the country is open. Why people visit Singapore is because of the Changi airport. When I first went to Singapore, I was really astonished at the facilities, at the look of the airport, and I couldn't express my joy. The first call I had with my family, I stressed. I said, I think I'm living in a different world altogether. So what happened in India? When these airports were privatized, there was a huge increase in traffic. For example, in 2019-20, this is a year when, as a matter of fact, COVID had set in March of 20. The COVID restrictions were there, so there was a restriction on the incoming and outgoing passengers. But still, 341 million passengers came in this 1 year. And if the COVID restrictions had not been in place, the statisticians compute it would have been approximately at least 900 million people. Now, Airport Authority of India thus earned 30,069 crores of rupees from its ventures last year. Can you believe? Without spending a single penny, without investing further, what investment had been made had been made. And the government had been losing. Airport Authority of India was living on hunger's edge. It was just surviving. But all of a sudden in 1 year, it earned a revenue of 30,069 crores from 4 airports, that's it. Because the other airports are still under the Airport Authority of India. So look at the huge returns. And that's what is hoped for, that this new airport, the Noida one, along with the 4 other ones, and there's a likelihood of Calcutta, Madras, also being privatized. As a matter of fact, I would recommend Amritsar Airport being privatized because the huge number of the people from foreign, especially Australia, Canada, USA, would like to go to Punjab directly. And Ahmedabad should be privatized. These are the 2 major airports, the Gujarati diaspora and the Punjabi diaspora. So if they can be given that. Now coming back to that, this income stream is a revenue stream that would allow the government to develop new airfields in locations which cannot attract private capital right now. For example, just imagine, you have a small airport in Aswal. When I first visited it, it was the size of a football. And when the airport was landing, the curtains would go up so that the airport doesn't fall down the hill. Now that, no private entrepreneur will invest there. But with this revenue coming in, government can acquire land, establish an airport, and then say to a private entrepreneur, come and manage it, and here's your playfield. This would help increase in infrastructure, better infrastructure, because when the airport is there, the roads leading to it, then the hotel industry gains because more passengers come there. Hundreds of benefits are there. So this is a heaven-sent opportunity for enhancing infrastructure facilities. For example, you set up an airport near the religious centers. Let it might be managed privately. Look at the stream of the passengers who will be coming. They might not come if the airports are not shining. So, infrastructure development which doesn't get at capital would go there. However, one thing has to be seen. that the future of the greenfield airports and the experience of the existing ones will depend not on the government of India but on the provincial governments. The national aviation policy experts have said that it is the responsibility of the state governments, provincial governments to acquire lands and provide it free for the airports. That has been done till today. Now, with this distance and the gap between the federal government and the provincial governments, the provincial governments would be wary of acquiring the land and giving it to the government, and the government would then build it or get it built and operate it. Get it operated. That has been happening till now. And that's why the infrastructure was low. As a matter of fact, there needs to be a change in the law. And the law should be that the land acquirement for a national infrastructure project will not be with the state government, but would be vested in the federal government. I know if Modi government brings in a law, immediately the report would be, well, here is Modi destroying federal structure and the states' rights are being trampled. And I can tell you, half a dozen political parties and at least 10 provinces, states would file petitions in the Supreme Court asking for the delay. Little understanding that this is destroying the economic future of the country. As a matter of fact, this Noida airport, the land was acquired by UP and then handed over to AAI, Airport Authority of India, which has handed it over to the Jewelry International Airport. That's the way things have to be done. And if we want to develop the infrastructure of the country, then whether it's airports, whether it's the railway stations, whether it's the railway tracks, whether it's the expressways, the highways, it has to be the PPP model. Way back in 1996, I had presented to the government. Actually, Atal Bihari Vajpayee had asked me to prepare a new system of transport, especially for Arunachal Pradesh. So my team went over there to Arunachal Pradesh. We visited every nook and corner. We prepared a huge map connecting each village where the population is more than 50 to the tertiary road, and we suggested a multimodal transport system. For example, that if a person is to be going to the hospital, why can't the motorcycle taxis be there? So a person has a motorcycle, let him use it as a taxi. Government should not object to it. Let him earn some money. And the person would gain. The situation in Arunachal was that the people had to walk for 8 hours to get a bus to go to the city. 8 hours walk. And then how can the people would die at home without getting the medical aid? And food would not reach, and hundreds of things. So we were asked by the government, Prime Minister's office, and we went there, presented a model, the multimodal transport system. First time in India that was thought of. And we had said that the PP model to implement this would be ideal. So this is basically, if you want to change the infrastructure map of the country, if you want to make it a unified whole, and let me tell you, if the infrastructure is good, it will also result in unity. People, say, living in Bastar area, Jharkhand area, they might not bother about waiting for something. They know they have a flight connection to Amritsar. They fly to Amritsar, visit Golden Temple, come back. And this divide between the different people would be reduced. Emotional attachment would be there. And as a matter of fact, this is what we had done when we talked of the national integration, and I gave a note that let's not talk of the national integration, let's talk of the emotional integration. So infrastructure is basically essential to provide a base for that, So it's economically beneficial, it's nationally beneficial, and all this cacophony, this sound and fury that is raised, that chronic capitalism is destroying the country and only the rich are getting richer, is hogwash. Let's accept it. These private airports should be a pointer to the way we have got to better our infrastructure and our system beneficially economically and from the national point of view. Thank you.